Right, all right. So I think we're just about got everyone in. If we could, I don't mind leaving the doors open. That'll probably let Wedge in and let the ocean air in. If I can get everyone's attention, please. Thank you. My dad, Richard's going to speak, and we appreciate if everyone could just hold their conversations. And my dad's going to speak, then I'm going to speak, and the rundown will then be a slideshow, and then we're going to rage with Wedge. All right, Dad.
Thank you, Warren. Can y'all hear me? Yes. I just want to say on behalf of the Wyckoff family, we appreciate all the love and support you gave during Brent's battle. He was a remarkable person who loved being with his friends and family, living the life in California in his beloved Laguna Beach. We're going to miss him. But today, let's celebrate his life, remembering the good times we had with the Wedge. Thank you.
Nice work, Dad. Slick did good, didn't he? You guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm sure I'll have a few moments up here. I'll get through it. I got power in numbers. Look at all you beautiful faces. Just to kind of echo my dad's sentiments on behalf of the family, the outpouring of kindness, compassion, the messages, the words we've received from not everybody just in this room, but across the country, it's been amazing. Thank you very much. It was plane, trains, and automobiles for my mom and dad to get here yesterday. We darn near didn't have today. A 20-year storm hits Laguna Beach. Thanks, Wedge. All right, yeah. I can hear him saying that. Oh, yeah, we're off and running now. It's going to be a comedy bit, boys. But I'm so grateful Mom and Dad made it. It was a gnarly day yesterday, to say the least. So thank you all for being here. And let's celebrate the life. Moment. Celebrate the life of Brent Richard Wyckoff, my brother, the Wedge. The sunrise on a Saturday, January 27th, 1968, brought in by Richard and Dee Wyckoff in Little Rock, Arkansas at 7:41 a.m. And I have a feeling that the sun shined differently that day in Little Rock, Arkansas. There was a glow over the earth that had never been felt before. And I believe that in my heart. 2 years later, we were in Arkansas, or 4 years later for Brent, we moved to Texas. Well, I skipped my story. 2 years later, I was born. And January 22nd, 1970, he became a big brother. And it was a role that he embraced his entire life. I had the best big brother in the world, period, hands down. So at age 4, we moved to Texas. Dad's traveling business took us to Arlington, Texas. Now a popular spot on the map in the United States. The Dallas Cowboys are there. The Texas Rangers are there. But back then in the early 70s, it was outside of Dallas, outside of the Fort Worth area, and that's where we lived. I had a lot of memories of those summers in Texas. We belonged to the Glen Garden Country Club, and we'd go swimming, spend our summers out there hanging with Dad and golfing. Brent was an avid golfer. Didn't take it up here for some reason, because he fell in love with that big body of water behind us. But he was a golfer, a young golfer, and we had a lot of good memories. Life-changing event happened in 1979 when we moved to California. Dad had an opportunity to pick 2 locations, east or west. He picked right. And so we wound up in Laguna Niguel, of all places, for 1 year, and we lived in Laguna Niguel, and that was a life-changing event because we were in California with our slang and our y'alls and our accent. And Wedge dove right in, literally. I never forget, Dad took us down to Aliso. This is before I even knew what a skimboard was, believe it or not. And we went to Alpha Beta, which still had the neon flicking sign. Old school Alfies, right? The original. And we went down there anyhow. Dad bought a board, damn near killed himself, went over the falls 17 times. Wedge went out in the water like a sea otter. Just took to it. I'll never forget it. I stood there just freaked out, panicked, still the pussy I am today in big waves. I was the stronger swimmer. I won all the ribbons in Texas in the contest as the summer pool. But he was the guy that just dove right in. No fear. Embraced it. Looking back to making sure I was okay. Also, while we were in Texas, I want to say, going back, we all know how much he loved music, and got to give that one to Mom. Wedge was introduced to music at a young age, and we know how he can just say, no, bro, it was Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. And he would tell you the album. And that's because he was listening to Fleetwood Mac and Crosby, Stills and Nash. And he went to the Texas Jam concert at the Cotton Bowl in 1978. He was 10. How long was the concert, Mom? 14 hours. Who'd you see? Aerosmith, Van Halen, Ted Nugent, Foreigner was there. He saw all these great bands, introduced to music, and that just carried over. That was a precursor of that I saw Brent's love for music, his knowledge of music. It's extensive. Classic rock, punk rock, reggae, you know it. Wedge knew it, and he loved all types of music, jazz. But I just wanted to point that out, Mom. You spun the record for Wedge first. There's no doubt about it. The next life-changing event came when we moved to Laguna, 1980. How lucky are we? For the first time in my life, I'm not in school with Brent because we're only 2 years apart, so we've always been classmates. He goes up to Thurston, I go to Aliso. Everybody likes Wedge because it's easy to like Wedge. It was infectious, likable guy. It was easy for him. Me, a little different story, but a few fights, it's all right. But Wedge meets Corbin Hamill and Hunter Wilkinson and Jimmy Perry and some other guys in town right out of the gate. And he was embraced and welcomed into the community right away. And it just snowballed from there. You know, we moved up, we were at Flora Street, we moved to the Summit House, and we became locals at Bluebird Beach. Same effect. Brad Upton and Scott Thorne and Garth Bradley and Jeffer and Doug Kennedy, and the whole list goes on. And we were immersed in the community and welcomed immediately. And that was Wedge's effect. It was easy. And I was lucky because the ripple effect carried down to me. The older bros looked after me. High school, met a lot of bros, continued his irresistible charm, and somewhere along the line, Wedge came out. And I don't know where the story goes. That photo right there is indicative of the quintessential Wedge. It is, in fact, the calic, and not because he was a legendary bottom surfer up at the actual Wedge break. Had nothing to do with a slice of cheese or cutting the cheese. It was his haircut. He had a calic. And when in the right time of year, after the summer sun had glistened on his head all summer, the back-to-school picture looked a little bit like that. And there's a bunch of them that we have with the Wedge calic in effect until he got to his current haircut, which is called bone. He just took it down to the level. So the legend was born. The legend of Wedge was born. Someone knows the story. I've asked around, and rather than try to cite a credit or offend anyone, we just know that it happened. It evolved, and it grew. While at high school, Brent got in touch with his artistic side. Anyone knows this? Phenomenal artist, amazing artist. Just did the sickest sculptures in watercolors. He would do mixed media with pastels and watercolors and a straw. Hang on. And he would blow the watercolors. And he would just do these beige Wedge things, right? And he was so proud under the tutelage of Hal Aikens and Bill Darnell. Maybe Bradshaw was there for a year before Darnell. But he was so proud when Mr. Akins would call him up in class, and there's a nice piece here by Brent, and Akins would, he would command the classroom. And he beamed with pride knowing that, he told me. And then he got an exhibit at the Artist Gallery. Right there in front of the theater, there's a little exhibition hall. Looks like they would sell tickets. But that was the student gallery. And to have a show in there was usually reserved. That's two, bro. Stormy seas and now water spill. I can handle it. But that room was reserved for seniors and talented artists, and Wedge certainly deserved that. And so, phenomenal. His artistic side, much like his personality. He's an Aquarius, loves the water, a personable artist. It all makes sense. So, his incredible gift, his unique style of an artist lives on. And Brad was just telling me yesterday, those are museum pieces. And they are, Brad. They are. While in high school, he evolved his skateboarding skills and his punk rock skills. Going to God knows what shows that mom and dad didn't know about. GBH, yeah! Golden Bear! So sick, HUD. And so they would do stuff. And HUD and the boys and Brad and Scott and Lockery and that whole gnarly Levi gang with com boots and chains that I just went, can you walk me home? I got some guys I don't really like at the park. I feel like I've got an army behind me. But he expanded into, Wedge delved into that, and he was genuine. Sometimes leaving the house and changing clothes so he could get into his Tippy Canoe outfit. Okay, he didn't want to hurt Dad's feelings. He wasn't wearing the back-to-school stuff. I'm over the Gap, bro. Miller's Outpost. Tippies. That store should stay open. They should have a wing in there. He established his roots in the mid-'80s down at Solag, his favorite beach. Hooking up in front of the Gluck House with Vetter and Butterhips, Dean Butterworth, to name a few. That's where it was born for him down there. Body surfing right in front of the A-frame. Damn it, that's three. And he just perfected his art of body surfing. He was really good at it. But I can't tell how many times he'd yell your name at the end. Did you see that one? You didn't see it? It was pretty sick. And he was good at it. He could have been an Olympic body surfer. I tell you what, he would have been. I know they had back in the day at Brook Street body surfing champions. And with all due respect to those past champions, my brother would have won that damn contest if they did it again. Graduated in 1986 as an artist. Team formerly known as. They're the Breakers. We embrace that. Interesting footnote. The school started as the Breakers in 1933 and 34, but we'll continue. Can't get the sports out of me. So Blue Malt was born. What is Blue Malt? It was another one of Wedgeisms, and that's the turbulent nature of the water getting into the sand of the sandbar and going from aqua turquoise epic Solag water to just this frothy blue malt. And that was the essence of Wedge getting barreled. He spent the next 30 years, you guys after high school, so we don't have to do 70,000 chapters of this, continue to meet hundreds and hundreds and thousands of more people. Anyone he touched, there was an instant connection. You were important to him in that moment, and he looked you in the eye when he talked to you, straight up. You were the most important person in his life if you had him. You were his captive audience, and he made you feel that way. Unwavering. He had various jobs, working at the Ritz-Carlton. Taylor Mason, I don't know if Taylor's here, said the same thing I've heard. I met your brother in 1987. I knew we'd be friends for a lifetime the day I met him. They're friends 30 years later. He worked at Laguna Nursery with HUD and the Heavy Dirt crew. They worked hard and partied hard at night and had to get up the next day and dig some holes. C-clamp worm. Those are some, didn't want to practice. Yeah, HUD's calling these practices. Heavy dirt. But he embraced that. He loved it so much, working with that whole crew. He went and got into the grocery business, as you know, spent some time at CVS, and those are the best memories when I see all you all here, that everyone has a different connection, but I'd be doing my own thing, and someone, I ran into your brother at CVS, and he made my day today. Made my day today. How you doing? Yelling across the aisle, too. All right. Magical. He would go, that is 4. That's a, he would, it never wrapped up, but his current job was at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's family was here. And you guys know, he loved Trader Joe's. He just loved TJ's. He had me a job as a sign guy. What do you want to do? Garth. There you go. Two-bell. It's right here. Wedge is a Trader Joe's ambassador. Two-bell here. Wrote it down. Just so you guys could hear it. But his personality shined anywhere he went, but particularly at Trader Joe's. It was the perfect job because he was, the perfect person, the perfect human being. You know he would have ended his career as a greeter at Walmart. There's just no doubt about it. All right. Are we shopping? Come in, dear. Yes, I'm shopping. He loved that customer service aspect. He loved it. Yeah, Joey. I'll give some shout outs. He loved that, and he respected that. That's why he was so big into the name tags. If you're wearing a name tag, you're Judith, you're going to get it right out of the gate. Who am I dealing with? They write it down. As my mom said, he had the Woody Jenkins effect. That's her dad. My grandfather. And Woody Jenkins could talk to anybody. Smell snake oil to the snake himself, eyes to Eskimos. But all joking aside, Brent was the real article, a true Southern gentleman. It's very infectious. It's very easy for him. Wore his emotions on his sleeves, had a zest for life, and he absolutely just matured beautifully. He got better with age. He truly, truly did. He just got nicer. I don't know how he could get any nicer, but he just continued to improve and have an appreciation for everyone. He was a very wise man. So anyone that knew Brent, regardless if it was a brief encounter or a lifetime of friendship, knew how special it was. And as I mentioned, he made you feel special. And the common thread that I want to share that I heard from everyone in all these wonderful emails and cards and passages that were sent to us is just what a positive guy he was. How much energy he bestowed onto others. It was just infectious. The Wedge effect is real. And I can't think of anyone that didn't like him. I can't. He may have had a few bumps in the road. I don't know. But he was loved by anyone, no enemies. And because Brent had all these colorful layers and personalities and all these unique characteristics, I just wanted to share a few of them with you. He was very nostalgic and sentimental. If he had anything from his childhood, he cherished it, and it would be presented in such a way in his apartment that it had to be aimed in such a way so he could see it. Well, there's my mom, there's my dad, there's my brother. He was so proud of his heritage and his friends. Just like what Bobby Mitchell told me, you got to get this album, this Black Flag album, or the Surf Punks. Well, Wedge would appreciate that thing's nailed down at Buzz's house at his spot. A bit of a neat freak, to say the least. If you went to his house, there was already be an issue on aisle 5 right here. I can tell you right now. Where? I got it. Just get away. Car is immaculate. Why are you pulling the visor down? Glare? Put on your shades. Don't touch that. The tree, the car tree had to be, so don't even touch it. I'd be like, it's time for another week. No, it's not. He had his way, meticulous way. So I coined this term today that there's not organized, there's wedgeanized. So it's a whole new thing. Only guy I know that would brush a bald head. Think about that. This is a hippie cut for Wedge. And he'd break... You couldn't touch it like you're messing it up. I love that about him. He loved his Looney Tunes. He loved to laugh. Do that little deal. King of the Jungle, all those characters. He loved all of that. He certainly loved Shrek because Wedge felt like Shrek. He had lairs too. Ogres have lairs. I have them, Worm. Many lairs. He loved his hogs. He loved that flag right there, state of Arkansas. And he was a very proud, patriotic man. He was a proud American. He respected the military. He respected the Stars and Stripes. He absolutely loved the country he lived in. He respected it. And he always, that was the one thing Brent wanted, was the mutual respect that he had for his country, he hoped others had, regardless of nationality, color, creed, race, size, origin. Just, that was a common ground Brent had, and I'm so proud to have learned that from him. He valued our freedoms. And because of that, 4th of July was his favorite holiday. And there it is, Becca Wecka. The only guy that could make play-by-play. I thought I could do it. If there was a fireworks show, you know, with a Riddler, because of the color. Purple Rain. Love American style. All right. This is the sickest grand finale, Worm. All right. So that was his deal. And you didn't want the show to end. You really didn't. So what a wonderful gift, all these attributes and qualities Brent had and possessed. I'm sure there's some I've overlooked. And I was lucky because I was the younger brother that got to learn and absorb all of this. He made me who I am. He protected me from day one, and he opened up a lot of doors for me. I don't get 5th period ceramics as a freshman. There's some people in this room that are still pissed that I took their spot. I mean, 1984, I'm a Grom. I'm just out of Thurston. I'm running around this, and I got an in with Darnell because of Wedge. You guys know the girls' gym. You run around with your sheet, and you're just, and I'm not going for my elective first. I got my priorities. It's 5th period Darnell, straight up. Then I'll get Aikens in 4th. I got a killer Irie lunch going here. But I walk up, and he's got the pink sheets, and, you know, I don't think I was registering with Brent, but I remember being in that gym, and I come at the Darnell. He got 5th period. I don't know, Worm. And he called me Worm because he called Wedge. Bill Darnell called me Worm. I signed my projects for him. It's kind of cool. And I don't know, and I was pleased, and he almost kind of did it on the drug deal on the side here. Here you go. Don't tell anyone. Well, I showed up that first day at school, or at 5th period, and all the class of 85's there. Armin and the boys. It's just like Chovy's brother. I can't remember, the Jeffrey guy. They're all there throwing, and I'm like, uh-oh, I'm just going to sculpt over here, bro. But Brent got me that open door, just like he did many things. So it's always been Brent and Garth. It's always been Wedge and Worm, and it always will be. He helped me with everything. He taught me the ocean. He influenced my artistic side, my music taste, my clothing, my personality. I tried to emulate him in so many ways. He was always so proud to introduce me. I was just reminded of that by Colin earlier tonight, or today as well. And anytime I went to Trader Joe's, you know, give me Garth, or whoever, this is my brother. And he loved to do that. And of course that made someone be, all right, that's the 7th person, and I met him last week. It was constant that way, but Brent couldn't get enough of it. I miss him dearly. I miss his comfort. I miss his hands. I miss his touch, his smell. I miss his voice. I miss his laughter. I miss playing paddles and skateboarding together, listening to music, getting Irie and watching Family Feud and laughing our ass off. He loved, we got a good one for you today. Wyckoff family. He loved it. So I'd like to read before I go, and I'm just about done. And I want to remind everyone, before I finalize my words here today with everyone, how thankful I am that you're here. Look at this room. It's filled with love. It's filled with Wedge's spirit, and I'm honored to be in front of everyone. I wish I didn't have to speak today, but it gives me closure to do this. Brent just celebrated his 49th birthday on January 27th. And I went and got his birthday card, as I always have, and he always has for me. And I'm just going to read it to you because, unfortunately, I had a gut feeling it was going to be his last one. Brother, we had a lot of fun times together, laughs that only siblings share, and memories that will last a lifetime. I wouldn't trade that for anything. I hope your birthday brings you more fun, more laughs, and great new memories too. Have the happiest birthday. And then simply stated, because Brent and I used to have run-on poems and notes, much like this speech. Brent, I'm so proud to be your younger brother. You set the standard for me to follow. Happy 49th. I love you. So Wedge had a brutal battle, you guys, and I'm not going to go into the dark side of that insidious, horrible disease that unfortunately is a reality of the human race. And hopefully it won't be, and we can strive for cures. But beyond that, he fought his ass off, stronger than, I just don't know anybody any stronger. I don't know anybody any stronger. I just don't. The sun set on his life on February 1st, 2017, and it was unexpected for all of us, including myself, who had to be there that day. Let me tell you, none of us expected it. It was taken away too early, and the earth lost a great man. Death is gnarly. I can't stand up here and preach to you and try to explain it because everyone has their own beliefs, and I don't even know what the explanation is. It's difficult to comprehend, it stings, and it's hard for all of us to say goodbye. But I will say that I'm confident, and I think my mom and my dad and I are too, that there is another side. And what that other side is, what that realm is, what that heavens is, I don't know, but it's loud and it's raucous with Wedge right now, I'll tell you that much. So don't have any regrets. Don't kick yourself for wishing I had gone to visit him one last time. I want to give you comfort in knowing that I told Brent that he's loved by, of course, his family, but his numerous friends. Have comfort in that. Take comfort in knowing that. He loved you, and more importantly, knowing that his family and friends loved him gave him that peace. I can assure you, and I shared that with him. His spirit lives. I heard, last thing, a song the other day. Some reggae artist, Ron I wasn't even sure who it was, but it touched me, the chorus of the song. And so I wrote it down, and I just want to share it with you. Shine like a star that has never lost its glow. Forever, forever, and always. And so we say goodbye to our beloved son, uncle, cherished friend, and the best big brother in the world. I love you, Brent. Thank you, guys. I had to. We've had our cry, all right? Let's smile and share stories amongst each other. Don't forget this is a celebration of life today. I did fail to say this is a beautiful setting. So Corbin and Christy and HUD and Brad and the amazing volunteer effort. I don't want that to be overshadowed. Just thank everybody for helping put this together. And we've prepared a slideshow that's, I don't know, about 10 minutes long. And I'm going to have, maybe Rana, you can just play a loop or anything we want to cue up some music. I'll move the podium Feel free to move about yourselves. I know you've all been standing for a long time. Might be a potty break. Grab a drink. We're going to play this, and we'll just let it loop throughout the day, even while the band's playing. The boys are going to get jamming, and let's just have a good afternoon. I love you guys. Thank you so much.